I do and don't like the fact that Jinwoo goes from being this, I don't know, this unsure individual, regarding his own abilities and such, knowing that he's known across the land, or in Korea, South Korea, that he's the weakest hunter. That's just his reputation and title, and you can tell he's a very hesitant kind of individual. But then in this volume, we slowly see him going through this metamorphosis of becoming a much more reliant hunter and becoming much more confident in himself. Also learning how to use stats and such, and knowing full well that he's probably the only hunter that really can determine where his stats end up. And just like with any, gamer, he keeps going even if the threat ahead could potentially kill him. Just always pushing and pushing his own limitations. And due to this perseverance, he ends up defeating not just one, but two bosses. One of the bosses he ends up getting a dagger from, called the blue venom thing Kasaka, which this dagger has two debuff skills. One being paralysis, other one being life drain. No, I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure there's a dagger in one of the Soulsborne games that has a debuff of poison, which I guess that essentially is what life drain is, right? There is also a lot of world building in this volume as well. We learn that people do leave Korea and go to other countries to help out with Gates over there. Because we learn that there's this guy who forms a team, because apparently you need 10 people in order to enter a C-rank dungeon. And well, this guy already had 8, he just needed to hire 2 more. We'll get back to that situation in a little bit here. But yeah, this guy's older brother is an S rank who lives and works in the United States. So that shows me that these gates don't just appear only in South Korea. So I kind of like that aspect. That could be a potential with possibly the story going, to other countries, and possibly seeing creatures based on those countries' mythologies. Another thing that's interesting is that the dungeons that Jinwoo goes into, by himself, when he gets one of those keys, where he just open it up and go into a dungeon. When he goes into one of these dungeons, okay, he's able to see the monsters' names, and depending on the color of the names, he'll know how strong or weak the monster is. And it goes by 3 colors. Weak being white, kind of difficult is orange, and stronger than the level that he's at is red. Yet this same notion doesn't really apply to dungeons that pretty much anybody can enter, or any other hunters can enter, I should really say. Well, that's of course unless the author didn't want to show this. We're also shown a situation of when a gate gets breached, because the reason for, the hunters is to basically prevent these monsters and monstrosities, whatever, from getting past the gate into the real world. That's why they're hired. That's why they are sent into these dungeons to deal with the dungeon itself, meaning kill the boss, dungeon closes, or yeah, kill the boss, get the fuck out before the dungeon closes forever. I honestly hope in future volumes that they show us what happens when somebody ends up being left behind in a dungeon. You know, where they go? Can they explore further beyond the dungeon? I really want to know this. Also, the fact that there are players that kill other players, or rather hunters that kill other hunters, known solely as lizards, that they take people, they promise them, gold or whatever, loots and shit, and they leave them behind to their demise. And that's exactly what Dong Suk Hwang and his men were. They were lizards. They hired Jinwoo and this rich kid. Let's see. Rich kid's name was Jinho Yu. So they call him Jinho. Hired both of them just to be stand-ins. But then to ultimately betray both of them, by leaving them in the dungeon, closing off the exit. And keep in mind, the dungeon's exit didn't close by itself. They created like a cave collapse. But, Jinwoo, who was trying to keep his abilities pretty much hidden, ended up fighting the dungeon boss, which was this big ass arachnid. Then once Dong Suk Hwang came fucking back, he ordered Jinho to kill Jinwoo, which then Jinwoo's not sure what to call this, but basically his notifications came on and said enemies to defeat 8. There were 8 in Dong Suk Hwang's party, and Jinwoo killed all 8 of them. It was fucking badass, honestly, and completely unexpected. But then again, going into that part of the story, I had a feeling that Dong Suk Hwang was a piece of shit. And the guy has a younger brother who is an S-rank hunter that is in the United States. And his younger brother now knows that his older brother got murdered. But of course, no one's expecting a murder to actually take place. They're expecting that, maybe they ended up in a false C-rank, hunting dungeon. And 8 of them got killed, and 2 ended up surviving. But what doesn't add up, though, was that the 8 that got killed were all C-rank hunters, with a couple of D-ranks, and the 2 that survived was 1 E-rank, which Jinwoo is. Well, we know he's not really E-rank, but just that's what it says on his profile. And a D-rank, which is Jinho. That's another aspect of world building that we learn in this volume, is that there is such a thing called false rankers. And false rankers are those that don't get their ranks, measured up more. They stay at a low rank, and they join low rank hunting because they love killing. Because, they can just kill weak monsters with ease. As any gamer would know, killing weak monsters, there's only 1 or 2 reasons why you would really fucking do it. One, is to try to see how much you can level up through the deaths of low rank monsters, or to acquire weapons, items, and such. Sometimes even low ranking monsters end up producing rare items. Of course, the drop is at a very small percentage half the time. It's like 1 to 5% chance of that drop fucking happening. Of course, granted, unless you have an item equipped on yourself that increases the percentage of a rare drop to go up. And usually items give you depending on the item, could be a 10, 20, or 30% chance of said item appearing. After that whole incident, Jinho wants to create his own guild, but in order to do that, he needs to successfully go through things like 19 dungeons, and he wants, Jinwoo to be the one that goes into these dungeons with him. At first, Jinwoo was like, nah, it's just going to be you and me. But then, Jinyo is like, we need more people. So it's like, okay, let's just hire people. We'll hire people to just basically stand around. It's like, let's take a page out of Dong Seok Wong's book. Even though the dude was a piece of shit, he had a point of hiring people just to be stand-ins. And just like with Volume 1, Volume 2 ends once again with Jinwoo going into a dungeon. Granted, the start of Volume 2 did have us go through the same dungeon he was in. So I'm hoping Volume 3 starts off that same way. And so with that being said, what did you guys think of Solo Leveling Volume 2? Let me know in the comments down below. In case you guys are curious on where this volume starts or where it ends, it starts at Chapter 3, Quests, and ends at Chapter 5, The Lizards. So that's for those of you that have read this on Webtoon. Now, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and once you do, also feel free to hit that notification icon. That way you'll know when I put out more content in the future. And you'd be so kind to give the video a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, as well as makes me feel good. And go ahead and share this video with your friends and family that are interested in this topic. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. Ciao for now.